The markets are closed, but the business stories are just heating up. Hello, I'm Mai Rodriguez. Catch up with us on Business Brief. Asian shares trade mixed as Wall Street's rally on renewed optimism over artificial intelligence lifts regional sentiment, while investors await the Federal Reserve's policy decision and earnings from major tech companies. Japan's Nikkei, South Korea's Kospi, and China's Shanghai Composite are in positive territory, while Hong Kong's Hang Seng, Singapore's Straits Times, and Australia's ASX post losses. In the currency market, the U.S. dollar strengthens against Asian currencies, while the Australian dollar gains against the greenback. In commodities, gold slips 0.3%, while oil prices edge lower. In cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin falls 0.5%, and Ethereum climbs more than 1%. It's confirmed 3 registered air assets linked to resigned lawmaker Zaldy Co are no longer in the country. The Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines says these include 2 Augusta Westland helicopters. The CAAP says they're now in Kota Kinabalu, Malaysia, and flown there on August 20th and September 11th. Meanwhile, the Gulfstream aircraft has been in Singapore since August 16. It was earlier revealed that Co, who has been linked to the flood control scandal, has over 4 billion worth of air assets registered under different companies. President Bongbong Marcos has signed into law Republic Act 12312, banning offshore gaming operations in the country and declared them illegal. Under the law, all work permits and visas of individuals engaged or employed in POGOs are declared canceled. The measure is an offshoot of the POGO ban imposed last year due to crimes associated with POGO hubs. The country's leading group for the semiconductor industry is now looking at other market options while keeping optimistic about the country's chances of striking a deal with Washington. Paulo Barcelon is on the line for more details. Paulo, go ahead.
Mai Semiconductor and Electronics Industries in the Philippines, or SEIPI President Dan Lachica, says the country's semiconductor industry is on a wait-and-see mindset as it hopes that ongoing investigations by the U.S. government on semiconductors will still result in zero tariffs for Philippine semiconductor exports. Lachica admits the Philippines may not have much tariff concessions to offer as opposed to other ASEAN neighbors.
Frankly, I'm not really sure what else the Philippines can offer to lower that 19% reciprocal tariff. However, having said that, we're still benefiting from the Section 232 investigation in terms of having zero tariff on semiconductors and selected EMS products.
Lachica adds the country is already other export markets such as Germany and the Netherlands to help semiconductors and electronics companies cope with potential revenue losses following the full implementation of Trump's tariffs.
The biggest destination would be Germany, 5 to 6%. Netherlands would be about 3%. Then we explore further because, at one time we were talking to our French Association counterpart. They didn't even know about the capabilities of the Philippines in terms of electronics.
Lachica also says government and the semiconductor sector is working to lessen costs of doing business for the industry and that the impact of U.S. tariffs is felt across the global semiconductor industry. Lachica says the ongoing Philippine Semiconductor and Electronics Convention, or PSECE, hopes to further strengthen the Philippines semiconductor industry as one of its leading export drivers. Meanwhile, Palace Press Officer Claire Castro told reporters in Kuala Lumpur that negotiations are ongoing for tariff rates and that trade rules and regulations on non-tariff measures are among the stumbling blocks that hamper the Philippines from securing a tariff deal with Washington. Mai.
Thank you for that report. Paulo Barcelon. iPeople Incorporated, the education holding company jointly owned by the Yuchenco and Ayala groups, announces that two of its schools, the National Teachers College and AC College of Enterprises and Technologies, will merge with NTC as the surviving entity. The Securities and Exchange Commission approved the merger on October 21, with the consolidation set to take effect on October 28. It's part of iPeople's continuing effort to streamline its education network, which includes Mapua University, the Malayan colleges in Laguna, Mindanao, and Davao, the Apex schools, and the University of Nueva Cáceres. The peso has broken 59 to the dollar, tumbling past a level that has held steady for more than 3 years. On BNC's Business 360, RCBC Chief Economist Michael Ricafort notes that before 2022, the peso had been capped around 56.50 for nearly 2 decades, highlighting how stable the currency had been. Despite the slide, he says it won't be easy for the peso to reach 60 per dollar soon.
It won't be that easy, Mikey, because the local monetary authorities, they have a good track record in stabilizing the peso. As mentioned, 59.00 has been respected for more than 3 years in September of 2022. Prior to that, for 18 long years, from 2004 to 2022, around August of 2022, it was capped at 56.50. So there's the track record. The last time we saw 59.00 was December 19, 2024, before Christmas last year. And, you know, that was, back then, it was a Trump factor. Now, it ended the year at, in 2024, at 57.845. So that's the peso strengthened by more than a peso because of the remittances during the Christmas season back then.
Ricafort attributes the recent slide mainly to political noise and corruption controversies. He warns the weaker peso could push up import costs and debt servicing, but adds risks remain manageable. SP New Energy Corporation reports a transfer of over 10 billion common shares from Solar Philippines Power Project Holdings Incorporated, owned by businessman turned politician Leandro Leviste, to MGen Renewable Energy Incorporated. The transfer follows the maturity of 2 exchangeable note facility agreements covering loans extended by MGen to Solar Philippines in September 2024 and March 2025. The loans, totaling 13 billion pesos, were convertible into 10.8 billion common shares of SP New Energy and were settled through a special block sale on October 28. As a result, Solar Philippines' stake in SP New Energy declined from 19 billion to 8.2 billion shares, while MGen's holding increased from 17.9 billion to 28.7 billion shares. We're taking a short break. More stories are coming up next. You're watching Business Brief. You're back on Business Brief. Apple briefly topped $4 trillion in market value for the first time on Tuesday. This is due to the robust demand for its latest iPhone models. Its stock briefly reached $269.89, giving Apple a market value of $4.005 trillion before receding and ending with a company value of $3.992 trillion. Apple shares had struggled earlier this year due to tough competition in China and uncertainties on how the company would cope with high U.S. tariffs. Concepcion Industrial Corporation reports steady revenue growth for the third quarter despite challenging market conditions. The company says total group net sales, including contributions from Concepcion Midea Incorporated, rose 11% to 5.5 billion pesos, while consolidated net sales increased 2% to 3.9 billion. consolidated earnings stood at 141.5 million pesos. Chief Finance and Operating Officer Rajan Komarasu says margin pressures and external headwinds tempered profitability, but the company continued to manage costs and optimize operations. AREIT Incorporated announces its sixth property for sale swap with Ayala Land Incorporated, a move that will expand its portfolio and boost assets under management to 158 billion pesos. The transaction involves the acquisition of Ayala Center Cebu and Ayala Malls Feliz in Pasig City, valued at 19.5 billion pesos. Ayala Land and its subsidiary Summerhill Commercial Ventures will subscribe to over 441 million primary common shares of AREIT at 44 pesos and 15 centavos each. The deal will add 375,000 square meters of gross leasable area to AREIT's portfolio, increasing its total to 4.7 million square meters. President and CEO Alberto de Larrazabal says the infusion strengthens AREIT's geographic reach and asset mix and is expected to support dividend growth. Nvidia is closing in on a historic milestone, nearly hitting a $5 trillion market value. The chipmaker's stock jumped almost 5% after announcing $500 billion in bookings for its AI processors. Nvidia also revealed plans to build 7 new supercomputers for the U.S. Department of Energy. The company's shares have surged 50% this year, making Nvidia the front runner in the global race to power artificial intelligence amid intensifying U.S.-China tech tensions. We're taking another breather, a look at how Philippine shares did today. When we return, stay tuned. The Philippines is expected to have the highest proportion of Generation Alpha among major Asian markets. In a report, BMI, a unit of Fitch Solutions, says Gen Alpha will account for 27% of the country's total population by 2030. The Philippines is followed by Malaysia and Vietnam, where Gen Alpha is projected to make up 21% of the population in each market. Meanwhile, Japan and South Korea are expected to have the smallest share of Gen Alpha consumers, 12 and 11% respectively, due to aging populations and low birth rates. BMI adds, by the end of 2025, Gen Alpha will number about 2 billion worldwide. That's 24.2% of the global population of around 8.3 billion. U.S. President Donald Trump reports a trade deal with South Korea would be finalized very soon. He made the announcement on the sidelines of the summit of APEC CEOs in the southeastern city of Gyeongju. The two allies previously announced a deal where South Korea would avoid the worst of U.S. tariffs by investing $350 billion in the U.S. He is also looking forward to a meeting with his Chinese counterpart.
President Xi of China is coming tomorrow here, and we're going to be, I hope, making a deal. I think we're going to have a deal. I think it'll be a good deal for both. And that's really a great result. You know, that's better than fighting and going through all sorts of problems.
A month into the U.S. government shutdown, and there's still no breakthrough in Washington. Republican and Democratic leaders remain deadlocked as essential services and federal aid programs edge closer to disruption. A coalition of Democratic-led states filed a lawsuit on Tuesday to block the Trump administration from suspending food aid benefits starting November 1st. Democrats insist they won't vote to reopen government without action on health subsidies covering 24 million Americans. Republicans, meanwhile, say Congress must first pass a temporary spending bill to end the shutdown.
Now, they are threatening to withhold funding that the Trump administration has in a contingency fund in ways that will deprive everyday, hard-working American taxpayers.
Beyond the U.S., currency pressures and U.S. policy uncertainty continue to ripple across Asia, with investors watching how regional markets react to the extended shutdown. Philippine shares extend their gains for a second straight session, though the main index remains within the 5,900 level. The PSEI closed nearly 0.2% higher at 59.63. Mining and oil led the gains, climbing more than 3%. Advancers outpaced decliners 110 to 74, with value turnover at 6.5 billion pesos. Among the day's most active stocks, Manila Water posted the strongest gain, up more than 3%. In the currency market, the peso slips to 59.18 against the U.S. dollar, weaker than the previous close of 59.13. That's a wrap for today's Business Brief. I'm Mai Rodriguez. Join us again tomorrow as we bring you the stories that help you plan your next big, bold moves in business. Only here on the Bilyonaryo News Channel.